Good evening. I am Beth Hildenbrand, and this is Booked Up with Beth. And tonight we have David Wilson with us, and David is back with his new book, The Devil's Vacation. Pardon me, tongue-tied tonight. David, I am so happy to have you back. This was a fabulous book. So for the people who didn't see you the first time, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me back. This is great. I've been looking forward to this.
Me
Yeah, I'm
too.
from Maine. I've always lived in Maine all my life, and my career, believe it or not, was in law enforcement. I did many years as a detective, and I didn't start writing until I was a little bit older, and I'm a lot older now. But I started with a memoir about my time in law enforcement, and then I went to a Maine humor series. And then after that, because I was born on Halloween in Bangor, Maine, which a lot of people know as Stephen King country, I had to write one horror book, and that one book just branched out to many others because of the popularity of that genre and because of the readers who are just tremendously awesome. So yeah, I'm a multi-genre author, and I really enjoy the diversity of that. So, I live here in central Maine in the woods near the lakes with my wife and dog and two cats.
Oh, there you go. I had a son born on Halloween. I probably told you
Nice.
that the last
Yes, you
time.
did.
And
Yeah, you did.
he just informed me that he and his lady, his fiance, are getting ready to have a baby. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. And
Congratulations to them.
it's due at the end of October.
Oh my goodness. What a
So maybe
coincidence.
we'll get another Halloween baby. That would be fabulous.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm all excited for that. I'm going to be a grandma again. Um, Now, I have to ask you, what corner of hell did you come up with this idea for this book? Because wow, it's out there and it's fabulous.
Well, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
where did this come from?
Yeah, it's the fourth book in sort of a series. They're all standalone books with the same theme of the devil as the main character. And he's not a nice guy, but he's a gentleman. And it started again with that very first book of horror that I just wanted to experiment with, just to see if I had it in me. And the plot of that one was, very different from this one, but again, the same theme of the devil controlling the situation, promising things that he's never going to keep. The devil's doing the devil's thing. So when that book first came out, it was called Last Stop Ground Floor. That one almost immediately outsold everything that I had written and published. Which made me very happy, obviously. And I really started to interact with the readers of the horror genre. And, I have conversations with them all the time, and I ask them what they want from me, because I've written different books of horror. I've written an adventure horror and a mystery horror. But these ones are very psychological horrors with some very dark humor. This one didn't have as much dark humor as my other ones. But that's where I wanted to go with it. But it all started with that first book. And since then, again, I'm on the fourth book where the devil is the main character, all different plots, all different stories. But that's been the journey of it. And like I said to you a few minutes before we started the show, I hope I have another one in me. You never know, after four books of using that character, whether there's more stories to be had. Because what I do with all of them is I take the folklore, the mythology behind the devil, his proverbial offer of your soul for whatever you want. So I've used the folklore in all the books, and I'm hoping to continue. I hope I have more, because this one seems to be very popular.
I think people have some kind of fascination with Old Scratch. I really do. And I don't know if it's kind of like, well, if we can bring him down to our level, he's not as scary that way. You know what I mean? Uh,
Absolutely.
he's not as fearful
Right.
if we can bring him down to human level.
Yeah.
And
Well, and in these books, he's very much the gentleman, because he's always looking for something. He's always wanting something. And of course, the bottom line is he wants your soul. But he's going to be very nice and very sweet and very debonair, and he's very well dressed up until the point where he gets what he wants, and then things take a turn.
yes, and with Detective Atkins,
Yes.
It is all I want is your friendship. I
Right.
don't want anything more from you, just your
Right.
friendship. And
Right.
then the detective brings him coffee and a donut.
Yes, he
And the
does.
devil is so pleased by this. Well, nobody's ever nice to me for
Right.
just to be nice.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's like the devil is so pleased by this.
Yeah. Well, and the detective doesn't know who he is. I mean, the devil was very, in my book, not to give it away, but there's a lot going on, so it's really tough to give it away. But
I
the
know, I
devil
hate that
tells him
part.
who he is. Yeah, he says, "I am the devil," and the detective, obviously doesn't believe him. Just thinks he's some eccentric homeless person. So yeah, the detective is cordial to him but cautious. And you're right, the devil is just he's looking for something, but he strikes up a conversation with the detective. Obviously there's something he wants and there's something he's working towards, but yeah, it wasn't the detective soul that he wants. So I think that's what makes this book interesting.
Yes, and uh, who's going to believe you if
Right.
somebody says to you, "I'm the devil"? Yeah, okay, sure you are. Yeah,
Right.
right.
Right. You're just a nut.
Yeah. What have you been smoking?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Sure, you're the devil. I saw
Yeah.
you last week at the grocery store. You're not the
Right.
devil.
Right.
The devil doesn't shop at the same grocery store as me.
Right.
It's just, who's going to believe that?
Right.
But yet, as the story unfolds, the detective starts to wonder, well, yeah, hey, maybe he is, maybe he's
Right.
not. But how can you possibly
Right.
even? Well, it's like in so many ways, we still don't want to believe what our eyes are showing us because it's
Right.
too incomprehensible.
Right, right, and in this story, I mean, the devil is dropping some very serious hints, and he's controlling the detective's dreams, and he's manipulating those dreams to attempt to prove to the detective who he is. But of course, part of the folklore of the devil too is that he can't tell you his name. He's not allowed to, so he can only divulge so much. But yeah, it's I think it's a good psychological horror mystery. If I had to
It
categorize.
is. It is. And there's a lot of depth to it. And I hate, like, it's so hard to talk about books on the show
Right.
when they're good because you can't give spoilers.
Right.
You don't want to give the story away. And there's so many levels to this story.
There's a lot happening. There's a lot
Yes,
happening.
there is. I mean, you do not get bored
No.
and you cannot put it down because you have to see what's going to happen next. And the detective is looking for a killer.
Yes.
In this story.
Yes.
And he's not supposed to be. He's been stuck on cold cases.
Yes, that's right. He's
He's
been
an older
demoted. To him, that's a
detective.
demotion. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's an older detective, and the young lieutenant's taken over, and he wants all the young guys doing the homicides now,
Right.
and so he's been put out to pasture, and he
Basically,
feels that
yes. Yep.
he's like, okay, this is my life now,
Right.
dead end.
Right.
And so the young guys are looking for this new serial killer called the juvenile killer. That's as
Correct.
far as I'm going to go on that. So
Right.
he's feeling, kind of washed up. And everybody's looking for this killer, and he just really wishes he had a part in this.
Right. Exactly.
So, he's talking to this homeless guy who says he's the devil and just kind of getting his feelings out, almost like he's talking to his psychiatrist.
Correct. Yeah. Very, very
And
much.
and so it's really it's really kind of along the way, the devil's like, well, I could help you out with this, and he's like, no, you can't, you're not the devil, you're just talking.
Right.
And so it really, the interaction between the detective and the devil just takes on this whole world of it goes into his dreams. And then
Right.
you start to wonder, are these waking dreams?
Right.
Is this really happening to him? And does he even know, is this really happening to him? So it's all kind of, you're starting to wonder what's real and what's not.
Right. And that's the goal of the book is to, again, to keep you guessing until the end. I mean, this guy's the devil. The detective doesn't. but you also have to wonder, where is the story going to go, and what is the devil trying to do? Because he's obviously befriending this character, but he's also manipulating him, because that's what the devil does. He manipulates.
Yes, exactly. The devil's
You
not a
know,
nice guy, people.
no,
Nope.
no.
I
And
mean,
really, the theme in all of the books is, if there's some commonality between the books besides the devil, is that the interaction between the devil and one character. I didn't go away from that. In all the books, it's the devil and another primary character having this conversation and different things happening. And I wanted to do that with this book. But the other goal I have with all of my books, and I think you'll agree, is that I don't write the typical slasher novels. You're not going to figure out what's happening. Each chapter is a story within itself, and obviously there's other things going on in this abandoned prison that the devil's hanging out in, which is where the detective meets him. There's other things that are happening that I think the horror lovers will like.
yes, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, if the devil came to you as a disgusting looking stinky hobo, you're not going to sit there and keep having conversations with the
Right.
man.
That's right.
You're going to put him in jail, and that's going to be the end of it. Okay, you're a vagrant. I'm taking you to jail for the night. End of story. Right. You're not going to be fascinated by him and continue to go back and have more conversations with him.
Right. Which is what the detective does night after night for several nights.
Yes.
You were correct when you said it's almost like he's visiting a psychiatrist. He's come to enjoy the conversations that he's having with this guy, almost like he's been a friend forever.
Yes, he feels a connection to him.
Yes.
And that's exactly what the devil wants.
Exactly.
He wants to pull him in because he does have an agenda.
He does.
He does. The devil always has an agenda. And I'm not going to tell you. Carrie says in her own novels, she tends to picture a certain actor for different roles in the book. What actor would you have in mind for the devil?
Oh, this goes back to the second book that I wrote in the series, which was called The Devil's Final Offer. And I've pictured the same person. And he even mentions this in that book. If you've ever seen Robert De Niro in Angel Heart, where he played the devil, some people have seen the movie, some haven't, because it is an older film. It's from the 90s. It had Mickey Rourke in it, and some other actors who were famous at that time. But if you can picture Robert De Niro wearing the suit, the perfect suit, and the shiny shoes, and just how his hair was slicked back in that movie, that is the devil in my series.
I remember that movie. Lisa Bonet.
Yes, Lisa Bonet, her debut movie. Yeah.
Yes, that was a good movie.
A very good movie. I go back to that movie quite often because I think I've developed more of an appreciation for it over the years.
I think I watched it just a year or two ago when I was scrolling through Amazon looking for something to watch. And it had been a while since I saw it, and it popped up, and I was like, I need to watch that again.
Yeah,
it is a good
movie. Yeah. And of course, there was a lot of controversy surrounding it when it first came out because of the Lisa Bonet scene. And I think we've gotten beyond that, and we see the movie for what it was intended to be and the story it was intended to be now.
Every few years we go through a controversy over a movie, and then a few years later it was like, why did people even say anything about that now? Right, and exactly. Oh my goodness, some of the stuff that they had a fit about is so ridiculous these days. Like when Captain Kirk kissed Uhura in Star Trek. Yes. Oh my God, that was just the worst thing ever. And now it's like, oh my God, people had a stroke about that.
And now that they've been touted since then as
groundbreaking.
The groundbreaking scene now, because the interracial scene. And I think that's great that now we can see it for what it was intended to be and not what it was at that time.
Exactly. Everybody's got to break out of the box at some point, and thank goodness for it.
Yes, absolutely.
We all need that. So I have to no. So there's so many things in this book, and don't. It's hard to talk about without giving things away.
I know
So
one thing.
the penitentiary is called Brushy Pines State Penitentiary, which you told me is a real place.
Yes, yeah, it's based after the actual Brushy Pines, which it escapes me where it is. It might be in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure, and forgive me for forgetting that. But yes, it's based on, because there isn't really an abandoned penitentiary in New Hampshire, which is the next state, where I live very close to that. But the Twin Mountains are real in New Hampshire, and I wanted to use that setting. But the prison itself is based on an actual very haunted prison that many paranormal investigators have visited. And I think we can mention this too. There's a scene in the book where this group of young paranormal investigators visit the prison only to come in contact with the devil, and he wasn't exactly expecting them, but he ends up using them to his advantage, not in a very nice way. But in those characters of those young paranormal investigators are actually based on the real characters from a very popular YouTube television series called Destination Fear. So, I enjoyed that show, and that was kind of my homage to those kids, because I love their show. And of course, being born on Halloween, I'm very heavy into, the paranormal stuff. Whether I believe it or not doesn't matter. It just very much interests me. So I watch a lot of those shows, and I wanted to do something around that. And so there's a chapter in there that's not too nice to him, though.
Let's just say it's a very interesting chapter. And for those of you who are history fans, there's some historical baddies that pop up in this book. Yes, Eastern State Penitentiary in Philly is very haunted. I have yet to go there, but I want to. One of these days, I'm going to make it down there. I'm so, what do you want to call it, introverted. Ugh, I hate to even go to the grocery store. I'm terrible with that mess. About the only times I leave the house is when I'm forced to do so. When I have to get along with people outside the house, it's like crazy things just happen to me. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I was having a conversation with one girl. Yeah, I just was picking up my, what do you want to call it, my prescriptions at the drugstore. And so I get my fingernail polish there because it's actually cheaper at the drugstore than it is at Walmart or any other place. So I'm talking to this lady, and she's telling me how nice these colors of nail polish are. And yes, I realize this has nothing to do with anything. But anyway, I said, this is my relaxed time. It started when my kids were all home. I said, but now they're all gone. Only my senior in high school is left. And she said, yes, I just lost my senior. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I said, I don't know how you're standing here working. You just lost your kid. And she said, oh no, my cat. And I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding. I'm standing there feeling like, oh my God, what an asshole I am to bring this up. And she's lost her child. And, I'm sitting there feeling all bad because I brought it up. And she's talking about cat.
Oh my goodness.
And my son says, well, Mom, of course she was. I was like, what do you mean, of course she was? He said, well, that's how people are today. I was like, well, not me. I was talking about children. How the hell did I know she was talking about cat?
That's how we get the characters for our books, though.
Exactly.
We people like that.
Because people are so bizarre. This is why I stay at home. Because people blow my mind. It's just too much. It really is. But anyway, that was something nobody wanted to hear. But yes, this is why I stay home.
I think that's something that people don't know about authors, is that so much of what goes into our books are based on things that we've gone through or been through or people that we've met. And what else can you do but write about it? Create a character out of them.
Exactly. I know, right? It's just, little bizarre things that we can take and turn into freaky deaky things to put into a book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just add a little to it,
absolutely.
and turn it into something.
Yeah.
And I do. That's why I write about, my town. The goofy things that happen in my town are always in my books.
Well,
because, it's right there in front of you. You just have to be an observer. And
My years as a law enforcement officer, and I didn't know that I had a book in that.
oh, I believe that. You probably saw some really freaky things. Uh-oh, we're freezing.
I did, and there we go. You're
There we
back.
go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. But anyway, what I was saying, I wrote that book more as a diary to myself than anything else. I didn't realize that I had a book in that until I put it out there, and lo and behold, that's the first book that won a literary award for me, and it's all about real things, real people's stuff that happened to me that I may have considered mundane, but somebody wanted to read about it. So you never know.
Oh no. I like I said, the little crazy things that happen in real life, people find fascinating. I have people who have read my Kane stories and my Dark Rites stories simply because they fell in love with the towns,
Right.
and the characters in the towns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they've been like, I want to go meet these people. I want to go to this town. And it's like, yeah, it's real. That's where I am.
Well, it's
Believe
funny
it or
because
not.
years ago, before I started writing, I would sit around and, you sit around and tell campfire stories, and people would ask me, and lo and behold, all this time later, it becomes a book. People want to talk, people want to read about that stuff.
They do. I'm getting ready to start a new series.
Are you?
That takes place in Adamstown, where I grew up. It's totally different characters, and it's in a different time than my Kane books. It's going back a few years.
Yeah.
But yep, Adamstown is the antique capital of the United States. So I'm kind of playing on that with this new series.
Nice.
And it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Very good.
So I just started writing that last night, and I'm very excited.
Nice.
Oh, my son is apparently home. I just heard a ha-ha. So, well, I guess we've about covered everything.
Nice.
I am going to ask you to please put your link and, your book graphic and everything on the, you have to go to the bathroom through my office. That's why people pass by behind me. He just got home from baseball practice. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So yes, if you will put your book thing on the page, on my page, along with this, you don't have to put it like in the comments or anything. Just do a big splashy thing there on my Facebook page. Then everybody can see it right with the show. And everybody needs to get this. It's getting a 5-star review from me.
Well, thank you.
I absolutely adored it. And it is it's fun in a totally horrific way. It is, which I like. I mean, it's great, horrible fun.
Yes, it is.
It's a head trip for people who like head trips. It's very, like you said, it's a psychological horror, and I enjoy that. I want you to take me away and have me not know where I'm going. And you did that. You did not know how this book was going to end until the very last sentence. And that was fabulous. I hate when I can figure out a book. I hate it.
Right.
And I did not know this one until the very last sentence. You did that wonderfully. Wonderfully. Well, you just carried me along. And I loved it.
Well, thank you so much.
If I could give it more than 5 stars, I absolutely would. So yes, I will put my review up tomorrow after I get some sleep and know what I'm doing. I hate to write a review when I'm tired. I like to be fresh when I write a review. So thank you, David. You have been wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yep. Oh, Carrie says she'll look for it. Carrie, you're going to love this. You really are. Carrie writes horror as well.
Nice.
And she's going to love this. So Saturday we have Elise Wiles on the show. And I would like to say, everybody, look for my cane books. They have all been recovered by the fabulous Sharon Brownlee McGee. And yeah, because my cane books had boring covers. They really did. And she has splashed them up and made them beautiful. So anybody looking for book covers or formatting, check out Sharon Brownlee McGee because she is fabulous. I love her to pieces. And I don't know. I'm supposed to have someone on Sunday, but I haven't figured out who it is yet. And next Saturday, we are having the amazing Zane Hodges. And he is, I don't know how to describe him. He is a poetic genius and a rapper. I mean, he puts the most wonderful words to music that I have ever heard. He is a wonderful young man, and I am just proud to have him on the show. And he is a new artist trying to get his first album out, and I see great things in his future. So I am really looking forward to that show. So thank you again, David, for being on.
Thank you.
And Carrie will be with us in March. Yes. Thank you again, David, for being on. I always enjoy having you. And I know I will see you for the next book because you wouldn't forget me now, would you?
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Thank you for having me back.
No, thank you for being here, hon. And everyone, have a great night. Love y'all. Bye-bye.